What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Beyond the Brew. My name's Donovan and we're gonna get into it today. We are going to Vancouver Island. Last video that we did, we were in Penticton. We checked out 5 breweries in Penticton and we got a little bit of love. Got some positive feedback on that video, especially from Cannery Brewing. Cannery Brewing reached out. They said they loved the video. They shared it on a few different platforms. They hope it might bump a little bit of tourism in that area, and hopefully people can come check out that video and see what it's like for breweries in Penticton. So I appreciate the love, Cannery, I really do. That's why I'm drinking your beer tonight. We got a beautiful Sun Blink Berry Sour. This is a tart wheat kettle sour fermented with a blend of raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. And I must say, it is quite tart. They got that one right. Very fruity. When raspberries and blueberries are infused in beer, I love it. It is sour. It's definitely got some sour notes to it. It's a little sweet, but more tart than it is sweet. And all in all, just a fantastic beer. It looks really good in this Cannery Brewing glass. Another thing that Cannery had mentioned, when they tagged me on Instagram there, they said, "Thank you so much for being a part of the Ale Venture." And I was like, Ale Venture? That's the best name that, why haven't I been saying that all this time? Ale Venture. I'm always adventures with beer. Ale Ventures. I don't even have to say it with beer. It's in the name. That's absolutely great. So moving forward, I'm just gonna call them Ale Ventures, and thank you so much, Cannery Brewing, for teaching me this beautiful terminology that you have in Penticton. Okay, so if you haven't seen the last video about Penticton, go and check it out on the channel. It's a good little watch. There's 5 breweries, beautiful summer town. Check it out if you have a chance. We were in Penticton last summer on 2 different occasions, but the second one we were driving through on a road trip to Tofino, road trip to Vancouver Island, and we're gonna continue off there. So after Penticton, we drove to Horseshoe Bay, which is just north of the city of Vancouver, and we hopped on a ferry to go to Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, and it was, beautiful. The drive through the Coquihalla to Vancouver and up to Horseshoe Bay was really beautiful. I know I say that adjective a lot, but it was super, just an awesome drive. And then Horseshoe Bay itself, I didn't even realize that it was its own little town, and there's actually quite a few things to do there that looked really cool. A little bit of shopping, so when you're sitting in line for the ferry, you can just get out of your car, especially if you have like an hour to kill, and a bunch of little shops right along the water. It looks like they're building up a bunch of condo buildings, or it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on in Horseshoe Bay, and it looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But we were just there for the ferry. We hopped on, and when you're on a ferry, it's just amazing. Like boats, I guess. Boats and ferries, they're just so much fun. I'm at a seaport and I'm traveling to another place. I'm traveling to a remote island. You could only get there by boat. I don't know. I just love ferries. It's I think it was like an hour and a half to get to Nanaimo from Horseshoe Bay, and the views were absolutely breathtaking. Seeing the mountainous hills and landscape of the mainland of British Columbia, it's just nuts. And you can see Vancouver Island and all those mountains over there off in the distance, and through the sun and the clouds, and turn around, you see the skyline of Vancouver. And so we docked in Nanaimo, we got off, we got to the hotel. It's a Sunday night, we're only spending one night in Nanaimo before we go to Tofino the next day, but we're gonna check out a few breweries while they're there. So looking it up, it looked like there was 4 breweries in Nanaimo. I think it's Longwood, Cliffside, White Sails, and Wolf Brewing. 2 of them happen to be right beside our hotel. Well, not right beside, but fairly close to the hotel. So we got in, we got to check out Nanaimo, and I didn't realize how beautiful Nanaimo was. You go down to the water and there's this beautiful walking path right along the water. You can see mainland British Columbia off in the distance. You get crazy views of the marina. There's pubs, there's restaurants on the water, there's some local businesses. I had no idea Nanaimo was this nice. I think as of 2016, they had about 90,000 people living there. So it has this larger, small town kind of feel to it. The first brewery that we checked out there was called White Sails Brewing. It was pretty close to downtown, right beside a couple parks there. And you walk up to it and it's just this awesome brick building. And you walk in, you see all the bright tanks and the fermenters. They're all lit up really nicely. Long wooden bars, some beautiful wooden beams exposed, high ceilings. Atmosphere was just unbelievable. Beer did not disappoint either. We grabbed a flight and we checked out a few different ones. They had a blackberry raspberry wheat ale, 10 out of 10. Unbelievably delicious. The coffee ale was blonde and it was so rich but smooth at the same time. Can they even do that? Like, looking back, I wish that we ate at White Sails Brewing. We had initially gone to a fish and chip spot along the main waterfront in Nanaimo, and it just really wasn't that good. They had a bunch of really good reviews, and I think maybe we went on an off night, but you know, didn't have the best food in the world. And then we walk over to White Sails, and we see some of this food that's coming out of there, and you're like, holy, what is that? Like, the baked brie, saw that, smelled and looked. The nachos came out, and I was like, why did we eat here? And yeah, they had some bratwurst and a couple other things. The menu wasn't huge by any means, but it looked like they knew how to do a few things right, and that's what they were sticking to. So White Sails, phenomenal spot. They had a pretty good looking hat there that I did not buy, and I regretted not buying it the entire time. So on the way back after the trip, we stopped in and I made sure I got this hat, and it's like my favorite hat right now. Right beside White Sails Brewing is Cliffside Brewing, and keep in mind, when we were here, it was a Sunday night around 8:30. Everyone's kind of getting ready for Monday, so we were the only people that were in the brewery when we walked over to Cliffside, and it was kind of a little more intimate. I didn't mind it at all. It wasn't bumping or bustling. They had some really cool music going on and some good beer. Really friendly server, and yeah, we just had a good time. So we got set up with a table, you know, beside the bar and a couple flights, and had a very peaceful time drinking their beer. The one that stood out to me was their Plateau West Coast IPA. We're on Vancouver Island. It's West Coast IPA country. They're pretty good at making West Coast IPAs, and this one was a little different. It was more of an amber style, had a darker malt to it, sprucey, tropical fruit notes. It was really delicious. Beers were great, atmosphere was great, everything was just very calm, soothing. Sunday night, Cliffside, that was a really cool spot. I'd definitely go back. So there's also 2 more breweries to hit up in Nanaimo, so I think I'm gonna be back there to hit them all up in one day or something like that, because Nanaimo is, I think, to me and most of the people I know, an underrated spot. Not a lot of people go out of their way to go to Nanaimo from Alberta, because Victoria and Vancouver kind of steal the show typically, or Kelowna. So Nanaimo, man, I'm impressed. I'll be back. Morning after, it's Monday morning. We got a campsite booked at Pacific Rim National Park, so we got to get out of Nanaimo. While driving to Port Alberni, we stopped at a few different spots, including Coombs Old Country Market. Saw some goats on the roof. That was really cool. It's kind of a neat wooden market inside, and yeah, they just have a bunch of grass and goats on the roof. Along the way also, there's a place called Cathedral Grove, and Tim from the Tin Whistle Brewing Company told us that this was a must-see spot. So we ended up taking his peach ale and getting some photos of the beer there. So thanks, Tim. That was a great spot. After Cathedral Grove, we drove to Port Alberni to stock up on some camping supplies and hit up a few breweries. I wasn't behind the wheel, so I mapped out 2 of the spots that were open. And let's start with Alberni Brewing Company. Awesome spot in a nice new building right along the main road that goes through Port Alberni. Their building and branding colors really stood out to me, and everything was super clean with a sleek design when you first walked in. You know, we weren't staying long, so we only had a flight of beer, but their Pilsner was great, their Hazy was awesome, and their Blanc was just extremely delicious. So they had a bunch of good beers. Twin City Brewing. We walked in and they told me that they specialized in pizza and smoked meat sandwiches. I don't know if it gets much better than that. Their brewery had a unique vibe to it with a lot of the featured wood and rusted corrugated steel at the bar. It was very memorable. Like, it kind of, once you've been in there, it is a really cool spot. I love that steel kind of rusted corrugated look. Some of the best pizza I've ever had in my life, no joke. And beer was pretty good too. They had a mix and match 4-packs. So we picked up a West Coast IPA, Porter Alberni, great name, and 2 of their other core beers. And the West Coast IPA definitely stood out to me. That beer was just fantastic. It's unfortunate I didn't get as much shots or as much video and didn't really get to experience the breweries like a couple others that we've been to recently. Port Alberni is a cool spot, and there's a couple more breweries in town. So again, I gotta go back, I gotta experience them all, and I'm definitely going on a Friday or a Saturday because it seems like on Vancouver Island, things are only open on Fridays and Saturdays. Okay, so we are already over 12 minutes long on this video, and we haven't even got to Tofino yet. So in an effort to not make a 25-minute video, we're gonna cut it off right here. We're gonna make a whole other video for Tofino and Tofino Brewing Company, and we'll post that later on down the road. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you have a chance. We'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.